I'm Larry London, and this is Border Crossings. On today's show, we are joined by a Brooklyn, New York-based band called Haerts. Nini Fabi and Ben Gebert started their collaboration in 2011, and today the duo discussed their sophomore CD, New Compassion. Haerts have performed at some of the nation's biggest music festivals, including Coachella, Bonnaroo, Pitchfork, and more. In 2012, Haerts were featured in Elle magazine, and their song All the Days was named the Song of the Summer. Coming up, a live musical performance by Haerts here on Border Crossings. Hi, I'm Larry London. Welcome to Border Crossings. In our studios today, on tour for their sophomore album, New Compassions, we'd like to welcome to the studios a group that calls themselves Haerts. We've got Nini and Ben, and your name? And Wayne. Welcome. Welcome, guys. It's nice to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Nice to have you in the U.S. Now, you're originally from Germany.
Yes.
And how long have you been living in the United States?
Almost 10 years now.
So what made you come here? Why did you decide you wanted to be here, start a career? Why pick the U.S.?
We came to the U.S. 10 years ago to study here. We came to Boston and went to music school there. And then, in a way, stayed on, which we hadn't anticipated either at the time.
And you two are married, right? Husband and wife? Now, when you started the group, were you married, or did that happen here in the U.S.? Or
that happened here.
It happened in America.
That happened in the U.S.
Yeah.
We were married before Haerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you've been working together for a number of years, right? We talked off air that you guys have had a number of projects before you decided to make this CD and this group.
We've always been writing songs together. So we've been together since we're 15 years old, and music has always been a big part of our lives. And, you know, when we were 16, 17, we went through my dad's record collections, and just it's always been a big part of us and our relationship.
And growing up in Germany, were you guys always interested in American music? Was that what turned you on to a music career? Was there, I mean, there's plenty of great musicians from Germany as well. So, I mean, where did you get the interest to come here and sing in English and start a career here?
I think in Germany in general, there's so much American music and so much English music. So growing up there, I think the majority of the music that anyone would hear, if it's contemporary music, would have been American or coming out of the UK. So we grew up, you know, listening to a lot of American music, and especially a lot of American music from the 60s and the 70s, I think. You know, our parents, they were hippies. And, you know, they introduced us to Neil Young and George Harrison, and I think that's just what we gravitated towards, and what then came natural to write in English. And
you got so many great reviews so far for the new CD, which has been out a few months now. Why did you pick the name Haerts? And you don't spell it like we spell it here in the United States. So is there a story behind the way you're spelling Haerts?
No.
No? You just wanted to be different? Just something unusual?
I know.
To have people like me say, why did you spell it that way?
It's a good question, and we get that a lot. But the truth is, there's no deeper meaning behind the name. We wanted something for this band. I think we wanted a big name that can stand on its own, and we just at some point had the idea to reverse the letters. I mean,
because it is spelled Haerts,
right?
For the benefit of our audience around the world,
right?
So you spell it in a different way. So how long have Haerts been a group? When did you form this band?
we formed Haerts, I would say, 2011.
Yeah.
I'd say 2011, 2012. Mm-hmm. We started writing the material that came to be the first album, and in that process, at some point, we decided that it could be something that we would take on the road, and out of that came Haerts.
Mm-hmm. And you've had a lot of, as I mentioned, favorable reviews. I mean, Billboard magazine, Elle magazine, you do TV music on TV shows and film as well. So you do a lot of different things. It's not only we put out a CD and we go on the road and tour. You're creating all kinds of music for all kinds of purposes, from what I read.
Yeah, I think we didn't intend to do that, but I think for us it's just something that comes natural, and we just, you know, our life is music, and that's what we want to do. And we've always worked together in this project just to, you know, to make music that can just exist in the world in some way or form. So for us, we're happy for all of those things.
And you've got a song in a very popular, I think it's a Netflix show called 13 Reasons Why. Is
Yeah.
it? So how did, because Selena Gomez produces that show. So how did that come together? I don't know if you knew that Selena Gomez produced 13 Reasons Why, but how did you come up, you know, with those folks from that show?
The 13 Reasons Why soundtrack came through our publisher and through the woman that's the music supervisor on that show. And we've been previously working with her on a movie called Love, Simon. And so we knew her from that, and she heard the song, and I think she just liked the song, and she thought it would fit in the show, and that's just how that happened.
And you also had a song in the movie Carrie, the remake of the movie Carrie.
Yeah, a long time
which is
ago.
a horror movie.
Long time
I mean, it's a
ago.
scary movie, which Sissy Spacek was in the original. But now, you know, they redid it, and your song is in it. So you'd say, come and hear this song. You tell your friends, come watch this movie. And it's like, maybe they weren't prepared for that kind of a film.
Yeah.
I know, we went to watch it. That was years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2012?
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
And you got all kinds of, you know, awards or, you know, all kinds of accolades for your songs that were in that film. I'm going to ask, I'm sorry.
Did we get awards?
Yeah, well, I read somewhere you were named Best Song of the Summer, and, you know, you put out a lot of great music you know, in the last few years. So if you guys wouldn't mind doing another song, we'd love to hear some music, live music from you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
We'll do a song called In This Time, or The Way. We'll do The Way first.
What's The Way about? Tell me about it before. Set it up, as they say.
I think The Way is more of it's a mystical tale. It's a song about, I think, the hope to finding strength and the hope to continuing, and it evolves around a mystical female figure.
All right. Haerts here on Border Crossings. Lovely. Sounds lovely. Haerts, live here on Border Crossings. You have a very powerful voice. Is that classically trained? Where did you start to, whoa, your neighbors must be very unhappy with you. Where'd you get that loud voice?
I hope not.
They love listening to it, but not at 3 a.m.
You know, that's actually really funny that you're saying it, because I used to have a really quiet voice. And I remember being a little girl in choir in elementary school, and the teacher always telling me that I was too quiet. And I remember even coming to college and people used to tell me, your voice is so quiet. But I think there was something that happened with me at some point in my 20s where I think it was a personal change, and I think my voice somehow changed with that, because that's how voice works. You know, it's whatever is inside is what your voice is going to be like. And I think that came through, and I think I was hoping for that, or it was maybe something that I knew it was somewhere, but I didn't know where it was. And growing up, actually, I did listen to a lot of classical singers, and you know, for me, singers like Maria Callas, she was my big idol, and I would get hold of these tapes of her private vocal instructions when she was 18 years old. For me, was the most fascinating thing. And also she also went through a process.
Mm-hmm. Were you shy as a child? It sounds like you might have been.
I think I was the perfect combination of very mischievous, but also very shy at the same way.
You could get away with stuff that way.
Yeah, so I think it really depended. If I was comfortable, if I felt good in the environment, I could be really strong, but I could be shy as well. Yeah.
And I read an interview that you had done, and you said the new album, New Compassions, you said, this is us. You said, this is us. So, I mean, it was therapeutic, it was helpful, it's empowering, but why do you say it's a reflection of who you are? These songs obviously must be very personal then.
Yeah, I think everything we ever wrote was always personal. So I think we were never the writers that would be able to, which I think is incredible if someone can do it, but we were never the writers that could tell someone else's story. It was always our story. I think New Compassion for us started in the most personal way, in a way, I think, where we knew we had to do this album. We were going through a shift, and we didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but we knew that we wanted to communicate something externally, but also between the two of us. And so the way we started making the record, and that's why I always say it's really us, is that we didn't so much set out to write songs about a specific matter, but it was more that we were trying to create a space where we could really have the songs reveal themselves to us. And I think to do that, we had to tap into a deeper place than we had done before. And that's why I think it seemed like the most personal work we've done.
And you took 4 years to make it from the first album. It took a long time, so there must have been a lot of things going on to draw from in 4 years' time.
Yeah, it was a long period of time. You know, we were actually still on the road for some of those years. So I would say 2 years of intense working together, and really 2 years to come to New Compassion, because the title now, it's a different thing than what the album started as. You know, we arrived at this New Compassion, which, you know, for us, New Compassion is a mantra. You know, that's it. For us, it stands for connective force. The album didn't start like that. The album started very in a lonely place, in a solitary place. And I think coming to New Compassion was, in a way, that shift in us where we realized this isn't something only personal. This is something that no matter how different people are, everyone goes through that. Everyone has these feelings. They're universal. So that was New Compassion in a way.
But not everybody puts them out for the whole world to share and to hear, because that's that's a bold thing to do, is when you're going through good things, bad things, ups and downs, and it's very personal, some painful things, and you expose yourself. You say, here, I'm putting myself out there, bearing my soul, so to speak. And that's happened a couple times, in recent times. I mean, Beyonce and Jay-Z wrote a very painful, very personal album that they released together. And
yeah,
so,
I love that album.
Yeah, and so it's amazing that people can do that. And it's as I said, it's therapeutic when you can put your feelings on paper and then put it into music and then sing it and share it with your audience. You probably inspired a lot of people. I'm sure fans have come up to you and said, "I love that song, and here's the reason why. And it was very personal to me, and it helped me through a difficult time."
Yeah.
Yeah, and but for us, it doesn't seem so scary because I think for us, it's just that's the way we communicate. Someone else, they communicate really well in an interview. No.
Right.
No, or someone else communicates really well in conversation or in painting or whatever it is. I think for us, it's just the music.
How you express yourself.
It's actually not scary to us.
And it's really, I mean, I admire people who are family, whether they're siblings or husbands and wives, and they can make a career together in addition to a personal life together, because it puts a lot of pressure on the situation that you're not only performing together in your worst times, when you're in your worst mood, but you have to, exist after the show together. You can't go in separate directions like a lot of bands do. They go different hotels and different limos. I imagine it puts an extra strain. So, I mean, what's the secret to making this work? Or is there a secret?
There's no secret.
There's no secret.
We always say it's the most professional thing that we could do. I mean, it's just, you just make it work.
Yes. It's natural because it is natural. Because, that's great.
Yeah.
And you develop a language in a way as well. It's we sometimes have to be careful when we work with other people, I think, because we're very direct. And, because we both came from doing our own music and we always do our own individual work. I think we know what we want and we're very direct in that. But in another way also for us, the thing is the music always brought us together. And we know that we both bring something to the table that the other one doesn't necessarily have. So it reminds us, and certain times the relationship kept the music, certain times the music kept the relationship together. It's
a balance.
It's a balance.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's wonderful to have you guys here. Would you do another song for us?
Yes.
Of course.
We'll do In This Time.
Tell me now about you wanted.
Haerts, our guests here live. That was beautiful. That was
Thank
lovely.
you.
What's that called again?
In This Time.
In This Time. I love that song. That's very nice. New Compassion is the name of the album, and you guys have performed at some of the biggest festivals with Bonnaroo, Coachella. What was that like to play in Palm Desert? I mean, those tickets are, what, $800 a ticket? So it's, you know, some crazy price.
Yeah, no, that was incredible. That was beautiful. I mean, just imagine performing in the desert. You know, we came from Munich, Germany, from the mountains. So, I mean, we've never experienced anything like it before. And as a musician, you're treated very well there. So it was a really great experience.
Yeah. And what was it like playing for, you know, I mean, when you play for a festival, it's 20, 30, 50,000 people. Then you do an intimate venue. I mean, do you have a preference? Do you like one over the other?
I don't think there's a preference. Do you have a preference?
No.
No.
I think all that matters is what happens in that moment. It doesn't matter if there's 5 or 10,000 people. I think that's we're kind of sticking by
I think
that.
it's the energy and it's really as much what we give to them and what they give to us. And I think it's so dependent on the people that are coming together in that moment. And if everybody's willing to, you know, just let loose. We did a show in New York City 2 years ago when, you know, we had no label at the time. We had no record out, and we just decided to do a little show because we hadn't played for a while. And we somehow shoved 100 people into this little horrible space, you know, on Bowery in New York City. And it was so hot in there. I mean, people couldn't stand it almost, but it was one of the most incredible shows we've ever done because the energy was so great. And, you know, there was flowers flying around in the room, and it was one of my favorite shows. So it doesn't matter. But then Coachella was great as well. So.
That's a memorable experience. Now, when you first started, you were signed by a major label, Columbia. You left Columbia. Do you prefer being independent? You have more control over your music than when you're with a major label and they want to control everything? I mean, do you have a preference or no?
I mean, now we're on Arts and Crafts, and they're a label based out of Canada, and they're an indie label, and we really like that. I think it suits us. It suits us very well in the way that we work. And again, it's the same thing. They're just good people. They're our people, and they really support us in what we want to do as artists. They don't care so much if we're going to have an instant success. That's really nice because...
Yeah, well, they're not pushing the business side of things as much as...
No, I think they're, you know,
do.
they're really good at what they do, but you don't, as an artist, you don't feel, you know... You don't feel pushed. You don't feel like so creatively things are changing. And I think that's what we didn't want because we were independent for a while. And we liked that freedom. And we wanted to retain that. So that's why for us it was good to go with a creative label.
Are you on a world tour now, or is this just in the U.S.?
We're hoping for a world tour. We're going to the Netherlands. We were in Germany and Netherlands the first time this year. We played in UK the first time this year. So it's been a really good year for us. And we're going to go back to Europe in 2019 and hopefully tour more in the US as well. So
what was it like going back home to Germany and performing? Everybody knows you there. You're famous. It's like, oh my God, look, they're superstars.
No, it's not like that.
No?
No, I think it was very emotional for us because we've been gone for such a long time. And, you know, we're doing our thing here, so it's not like we miss it every day. And, you know, it's not like we think about it every day. But once you're there and you play and start talking to people there, there's a bit of a... melancholy in a good way, you know. It was really great. We did a show in Hamburg, which was another really special show. I mean, the audiences there, they're so great, and they crave music so much, I think, as well.
Well, we're so happy to have you here in our studios, and we have time for one more song. Would you do another one for us?
Yep.
Yes, we'll do Your Love.
All right, Haerts. And by the way, I think this song went on to stream close to 10 million streams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll try to do very well on this.
We're doing
I'm sure you will.
a strip down.
never end. And I want you to be with me, and I want you to be free, and I want you to remember that I don't want you to fall. I don't want your love. If you can breathe without it, I don't want your love. If you don't dream about it, don't wanna give it all. Don't wanna give it all. Don't want your love. If you can hide it, if you can give it all, just to try it. I don't want your love. If you can breathe without it, I don't want your love. If you don't dream about it, don't wanna give it all. Don't wanna give it all. If you can give it back, I don't want your love. If you can breathe without it, I don't want your love. If you don't dream about it, don't wanna give it all. Don't wanna give it all. If you can give it back, I don't know, no. Oh, why you fall down? I don't know, no. Oh, why you fall down? I don't know, no. Oh, why you fall down?
For Love, Hearts. Beautiful. That's the song that's in 13 Reasons Why.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lovely song. You guys sound great. Where can
Thank
people get
you.
the album if they want to go online, and your website, and I'm sure Amazon, iTunes as well, but
Yes.
where's your website?
It's our website is haertsmusic.com.
And that's Haerts,
Yes.
music.com. And Instagram and Twitter and all that.
Everywhere.
You do all the social
it's all
media
Hearts
stuff.
music.
All
Yeah.
Hearts Music, wherever you are. And you guys are
Wherever.
on tour and probably around the world. And continued success to you guys. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
on.
so
Thank you
much
so
for having
much.
us.
Pleasure to meet you. You sound great. Love your sound.
Thank you.
This is Border Crossings, Hearts, our guest, New Compassion, the name of the new album. I'm Larry London. Thanks for watching.